Take one.
If a woodchuck could check wood, how much wood would a woodchuck check? Long Beach was awesome. We had a community where, as filmmakers, we recognized it was way cheaper to make music. Film is the most expensive habit you can have. We would fill our time, our creative time, trying to make music so that we could afford to make film. Everybody at film school had bands. And we would have Thursday night, Long Beach night at Al's Bar, right here on this stage. Clawhammer, Sublime. Red Ants, the best band ever out of Long Beach. Paper Tulips, no doubt. We would play Long Beach night on Thursdays, and all of us would transplant the whole scene up to here. Every Thursday, we were driven to bring something new. We didn't just show up and play our set list. How's this Thursday? Hurry up, write a song. I think it really drove the Long Beach scene more than any other club. Al's Bar gave us a place that we could feel like we were imported, but at the same time, we were home. It was the most amazing feeling. I was 18 years old. I tried to see all the bands that I saw at Bogart's in Long Beach, which was an 18 and over club. We would come the next day, they would play Al's. We would come here and be like, trying to get in with our fake IDs. I would change my 67 to a 62 just to give me enough to get in. I actually made money doing that. I charged $20 to do it because I was like really good with the fine point, like precision. And if you kept it behind like a frosted thing, you just hope Cliff doesn't like pull it out, which he always did. He'd pull it out, rub it off and go, nope. And so I went upstairs at the AMHO, and we went to the window that overhangs the patio. I'm determined I'm going to get in, so I'm climbing down the patio, and I feel these big hands on my hips, and they help me down, and it's Cliff, and he goes, and he takes me by the collar, and he takes me outside and just says, no. One of the things we would do with Thursdays is when it started slacking off, I would just start another band. So that we had 4 bands every Thursday. Neptunas, Jackknife, Paper Tulips, Labo Peeps, like 4 bands. I'll be in all of them, and I'll do sound. Like it had to keep Thursdays going. We called it the thrill of Thursdays. I mean, it's not super creative, but we'd have our own flyer, and we'd go and we'd post it on Melrose. It was recognized that it was a hot night. So I think it was just the deadest night at Al's before that, which is why they gave it to us. Johnny Vargas was one of those bookers that he would give us the night instead of book it, and we would book the whole bill. How I made Al's Bar work for me was we did a student exchange program where I would trade gigs, like, oh, you can play our Thursday night in LA. Nobody from out of town could play LA. They weren't booking them. The only people booking them were pay-to-play stuff up on the Strip. So I would say, I could get you a gig in LA if you get me a gig in Des Moines, Iowa, or Shreveport, Louisiana. And we would set it up where I guarantee you're going to play in front of people. And they did. The thing that made me feel successful at Al's was when people paid to get in, then asked who was playing. They were like, I know it's a band I never heard of. Here's my $5. Who's playing? Where are they from? Like that, to me, was the epitome of success. The Paper Tulips was on Flipside Records. We were power trio. That was the theme, I think, going into the 90s, was power trios. The Paper Tulips had a drummer problem. It was much like Spinal Tap. It seemed like they spontaneously combust. We just went through so many drummers. What are you going to do? I'm like, I'll play drums. It can't be that hard. So I started playing drums, and before you knew it, I was a drummer. I had 4 girlfriends. I was like, you guys are going to bring my stuff to the show, right? I don't need to practice. I turned into a drummer. It was scary. I was in like 8 bands. It was not good. We were a surf band, so all I had to do is play surf drums, which means a lot of rolls, Neptunas, a lot of stick tricks, fast food. But I had a great time. I auditioned for the part because it said, you better have bikinis and a wig collection. I'm like, I'm there. And yeah, I got to wear a wig, grass skirt. We were very popular because we were so easy to describe. We were like an all-girl surf band. Whenever you can describe a band, you get press. Cliff, legendary. He didn't buy any of my bullshit. Later, when he called me boss, I was thrilled. I would come in and I'd go, watch out, Cliff's behind me. And thank God he was most of the time. Sometimes I'd turn around and he wasn't there and I'd be like, I'll be right back. He was a Harlem Globetrotter, real story, and a Klingon extra in one of the Star Trek movies. It's true. He is legendary. He's Cliff. He's the doorman at Al's. I was on tour with the Neptunas. We would play our triumphant return to Los Angeles right here on Al's Bar stage. After the gig, I ride back to Long Beach. I couldn't get near my place because of the fire trucks. Flames through the roof. All my shit burned to the ground. I call up Mark Kreisel and I'm like, do you have a place upstairs that I could stay? He's like, I'm sure I do. So I come back up. Same night. I get back to Al's. It's about 4 a.m. Mark's still here. Stacy's here. Stacy's like, I already brought you some clothes from her shop to the curb. I go, Mark, which room do I got? And he's like, I'm not sure. And he hands me a shoebox full of keys. So I go upstairs and I just start trying keys in different doors. Jesse Easter says to me, you don't want to be on any floor except the 4th. And I'm like, well, what room's open? He's like, maybe this one. Possibly that one, for sure that one. I'm like, for sure this one, awesome. So I start trying keys, because none of the keys work in this whole shoebox. I tried like 200 keys. There's a room across from it, 420, infamously. And when I finally got into that room, I'm like, fine. I took a pile of clothes that Stacy gave me, and I curled up on it, and I went to sleep. Soot in my nose, my place had burned to the ground. Weird night. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm in the American Hotel. This is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. This guy knocks on my door. I'm like, who is it? I heard you're new. I'm not new. I've been here a long time. Open the door. I'm like, who is it? I open the door. It's this dude with blue spray paint all over his face. And he's got a bag and a can of blue spray paint. And he's like, want a huff? And I'm like, no, click. And I locked it and I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't sleep for the rest of the night, my first night in the American Hotel. Terrifying. So I forwarded my mail to this address and everyone laughed at me. Everyone said, ha ha, good luck getting your mail. I was like, what do you mean? I see the mail carrier putting stuff in that door. And they're like, yeah, but nobody has the key to it. I'm like, well, I have a shoebox of keys. Let's try them. So I'm trying them. Finally find one that works. And I push it open and there's a pyramid of mail on the other side of the door. And I can barely push it open. And it's 2 years worth of mail. And I'm like, oh, good. I start looking for my stuff. Pretty soon there's a swarm hey, mail, access, mail, access. I don't know how it spread so quickly through the whole hotel, but suddenly there were 25 people there. I didn't even know there were 25 tenants. I thought it was abandoned because when I'm on the stage rocking, I never thought about the people upstairs. I didn't know somebody was suffering. All I thought was it was access to the patio. And now I'm realizing it's not just studios, it's people that live here. It was really Wild West at that time. Alberto was across the street making flaming espresso makers that shot 30-foot flames out the back, and the fire marshal would come by and go, cool, don't burn anything down, and keep going. And I was like, whoa. To him, we were just an amusement till more and more people started coming. Our capacity here was less than 200 at Al's. When we would book bands like L7 and say no advance tickets, it'd be the first 200 people here would get in, and everybody else was just a block party. No wonder the neighbors hated us. It was after Gigi Allen and after Lisa Suckdog. And if you know either of those artists, I mean, I'm all for expression, but sticking the mic up your ass is not something I'm fond of. And it makes me have to go buy a new mic. That's like $100 each, which is like my yearly budget at House Bar. So I go buy 2 new SM58s. And I say, you guys, respect the mics. Like, I tried my best marketing pitch. You sound good. You know why you sound good? Because you can get the right distance from the mic. You know why? Because it doesn't smell like shit. So stop fucking with the mics. They were all bent up. You should have seen them. They were horrible. And they smelled worse than they looked. So I got new mics, and that night, the LA Times, stupid band name, stupid band. They kicked the monitor over, stuck the mic down his pants, whatever. So then he sticks it into a pitcher of beer. And I said, that's enough. And I came over, and the floor was really slippery. And I didn't want to slip and fall. I just happened to get set pretty well when I, and he went, and then Cliff dragged him out. So, I mean, everyone's like, whoa, and backed up. But I was like, oops. I didn't mean to knock him out.
I work at the American Hotel here. We have about 36 artists and musicians living here. Some have established residency for over 30 years. Some of them came with the hotel when artists bought it. And some are, just here for a month on their way from New York to Mars or wherever, stardom.
We had so many characters there. Tom Grimley had a studio there. He recorded a lot of bands in room 401. Sometimes you'd hear it and you'd go like, oh, how's that gonna sound? Then you hear it later and he's like mastered it perfectly. Somebody apparently first rappelled down skillfully into their room with the fire hose. And it was like, I'm MacGyver or whatever. And then Mike Gonzalez decided he was gonna do it. So he gives himself a little bit of rope, gives himself a little more fire hose, jumps out way too much, wham, smacks into the American Hotel, changes his face. I didn't know it was because he was locked out. I thought he was just being a stupid fool. Terry and Jesse encouraged him. They were like, yeah, Mike, come on, you can do it. They would encourage him to do all kinds of stupid stuff. They did a thing where they had soap and they put it down the 4th floor hallway. And they were trying to have like a skee ball competition with a human skee ball. You run to this point and then it's soaped. And then the rest of it, you slide. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then because they thought that was so funny, watching people fall, they decided to put soap on the stairs. And then we had all kinds of head injuries. That was a bummer. I remember Jesse going, it's okay, I know how to stitch people up. The reason Alice was such an awesome place was it was a community center that welcomed different ideas. We especially enjoyed people who weren't like us, like the rap nights, where we would pogo, and they'd be like, why are these people jumping up and down to rap? They weren't even received as a punk band before they played house. They were like a country band, but we helped like bridge that, where it's like, well, of course they're a punk band. They play really fast, they're a power trio. They cook bacon behind them while they play. Just the idea of bringing in that extra sense was punk rock. It didn't matter, they were playing country. This was a safe place that you could express yourself and be different.
The thing about Toast was she was our leader. She did all the heavy lifting, she booked all the bands, did all the work, and yet she just infused energy all the time. This one particular evening, I walked in, Toast was behind the bar, and she said to me, stick around, Terry, you're gonna like this band.
That's a promise.
Yeah, that's a promise. I had this big ball of Afghan hash that I got from my friends. So I go into the bathroom, and I pick up a piece, and I'm cooking it up, and I look over, and the guy behind me is like tall and skinny. He's taken a slash, and he's got these red pants on. And I'm thinking, cool, red
He's
pants.
dressed okay, I'll give him a hit.
Yeah, I took my hit, I walked out, and I kind of followed him. And there was a girl that looked just like him, and she also had red pants on. And I thought, who the hell are these people? The White Stripes. But he had this Japanese red guitar that was like, what? Then he had these Leslie speakers, and they have cones, and they rotate. I hadn't seen that in 20 years.
So cool. It's moving and blasting sound at you, but moving past
It
you.
pulsates. The guitar was retro, the amp was retro, and their relationship was like, are they brother and sister? Are they married?
Scandalous.
Who are these people? And then he hit the first chord, and Toast and I looked at each other like, fuck.
I looked at you like, told ya.
Told you, 14 people, that was it, including the bartender.
And the merch girl.
The merch girl.
Everybody that says they were there, probably not. As a Neptuna, we traded a show, just like the student exchange program. I think they got the short end of the stick on that one. There were only 14 people here, and we played to a crap load in Detroit. We had already begun the night like any other night, and then we got a call from Mark to tell us that it was the last night. We started calling everybody and going, last night at Al's, last night at Al's, last night at Al's. And Stacy had her list of 10,000 people that she was telling. The payphone was ringing off the hook. That was our only phone. So everybody showed up like, whoa, it's mayhem. They thought Al's Bar closing meant everything was a free-for-all. Somebody cut like the felt off the pool table. I was bummed because we had pre-screened every t-shirt onto the felt of the pool table just as a sample. It had like 3 or 4 years worth of t-shirt designs on it, including Tippy the Brick. It was super Dadaist. They would play pool and it would never be a straight line. It would hit the ink and go this way and that way. It was part of the flavor of Al's, how nothing would ever be exactly what you expected. Following James's video takes into account the love people felt and came down to worship the last night at Al's Bar. He tried to get like every square inch of the Al's Bar walls and all the graffiti. So many people had expressed themselves. He felt like, let me try to capture everybody's sentiment. It wasn't just a place, it was an expression. And the last night at Al's Bar, all of us knew things were going to change. Everybody misses Al's Bar. It was a community center that brought people together that would never talk to each other. The people that met here have no place to find each other anymore.
Cut.